You look capable. Stern in the brow, proud of bearing. You are just what we need to deliver these notices. You'll do it, won't you? You've got to do better than the last fellow. There's pay. It's for the war effort. Went and broke his little leg. Oh, Lunala's tears. Hasn't a notion of how important our work is. No sense of the bigger picture. I'm the chief of recruitment, and don't think I've got time to go around handing out notices. Those notices are only the beginning. We're in Rathir. This is the war effort. How do you think we get a steady flow of soldiers into Cluracan? You've got to be organized, and everyone's got to pitch in. Notices of duty to denizens of Rathir selected to serve. The work can be hard, and you've got to, well, look the part. I'll give you a list of names, and you get each of them to accept their card. Easy as that. Well, what do you say? Will you do it? What I need are boots on the ground in Cluracan. I shouldn't say this, but if anyone can't or won't accept the notice, find someone else. Or make them. Whatever you need to do. Take these cards, deliver them to Runir Westnon, Maywin Wyvern Gif, Afendel, and Varen Seawine. Almain? Odd. All can be found in Rathir, and I can be found in the officers' hall on the burn when you're finished. You can't fight a war without soldiers. True, we contract the war-sworn and volunteers arrive daily, but it's not always enough. Citizens of Rathir are selected on... well, the process is secret. Even I don't know how. They're selected, a notice is sent, and they serve. The names are Runir Westnon, Maywin Wyvern Gif, Afendel, and Varen Seawine. They're all in Rathir. Now, be on your way.
Keep the peace.
Excuse me, coming through.
You're not from the Scholia Arcana, are you? If they don't want my company, I certainly don't want theirs. If you're not one of them, well, you're welcome to join me. I'm enjoying the ale and cheer and no bloody spells or mysteries. One thing I've learned, the ladies here are like the spire. Breathtakingly beautiful and completely unassailable, especially to a failure like me. Those cowards dismissed me. Afraid of me. Afraid of how difficult it'd be to train me. What is this? Ah, it was only a matter of time before the army found me out. Just my luck. This calls for another drink. I'll have to pack my things. Ah, Alison. How do I tell my sister? Where will she live? How will she live? Army wages can pay for Alison now, but I'm leaving her. I'll send money. I hope she doesn't end up in the Wending. Let them sleep in their lofty towers. I'm headed for a real life, not sitting in front of books all day and being condescended to. Rove, another ale. Make that two.
You must be here about the notice. How do I know? Simple. No one but potential applicants will even speak to me. Must be because I reek of desperation, of one sending young souls off to certain doom. I have served the Alfar Merchant Navy since my youth, when I began my career as a deckhand on the good ship Steadfast. He is the scourge of the Frostbreak Sea, a terror who seems intent on sinking every ship we sail from Rathir or elsewhere. If only he'd stayed dead. It's the fierce, icy ocean north of the plains of Erethel. A busy place of trade and transport, and the occasional treachery. It is the hideaway of Dead Kell and his crew. The legends speak of it as a damned isle, a horrible scar on the face of the world. To be quite honest, no one is sure of its true location. For the best, I say. Well, once you hear the details, I'm sure you will lose interest. Everyone else does. We of the Alpha Merchant Navy wish to hire a representative to track and kill the notorious pirate Dead Kell and his crew of murderous hanged men. They had many names for him during the Middle Kingdom's era. Ghost of the Frostbreak, the Blood-Red Sail. Every captain and swab on the Frostbreak Sea feared for their lives when Kell raised his flag. Many widows were made in those days, my friend. Of course, that was centuries ago, before he was killed. Oh yes, the Alpha Navy put an end to Dead Kell generations ago. They tracked him to his island hideaway and turned his ship to tinder. There were no survivors. Now you understand our predicament. Our shipping and transport lanes are a gauntlet. Dead Kell preys on our ships like scabs feast on the dying. We are helpless against him. We're losing 1 in 5 vessels departing from Rathir. Good sailors gone, vital supplies sent to the depths. This must end now. You will? Truly? I must admit I did not anticipate this development. Here is your payment. It is made in good faith. Once you've made your preparations, report to Captain Rast Bratigan in the Keys. She will be your escort. Rast is a good and loyal companion, and a competent sailor, despite what they say. May Lyria protect you, and may her breath ever be at your back. Good luck. She is the only captain willing to pursue Dead Kell into the mists of the Frostbreak Sea. Perhaps it is her courage, her skill, her determination. No, that's not it. Rast is a good woman, but unaware of her own faults, of which there are many. They don't call her the worst sailor alive for nothing. Nothing causes a captain and crew more grief than those little blue beasts. Their poisonous secretions can eat through a new hull in a matter of days. They're not native to this region, but they stow away in the shadowy holes of ships sailing up from the north. They are Dead Kell's legendary crew, a trio of villains so sinister that their names sink the heart of every sailor. But I won't tell you any more. No, you don't need anything else to stoke your worry. She perches along the pier like a seabird, never venturing far from her ship, the Calamity. Trust Rust.
Good day to you. Don't bother me. I'm waiting for a passenger, some suicidal idiot. Can't be caught chatting. I want to make a good impression. I captained my first ship when I was no bigger than my papa's knee, and promptly crashed it into the dock, sinking 3 vessels with 1 wreck. It was then that I knew my destiny was to be a sailor. From that day forward, I spent my life on the water. 20 ships in 20 years. It must be some kind of record. He's as elusive as a north wind, a phantom with a skull for a face and fins for feet. Every sailor yearns for the chance to face Dead Kell. He and his hangmen go where they please, masters of the Frostbreak. In my experience, islands are places you visit in order to escape torment and certain death. Ugh, Gallows End is one destination I will avoid on future voyages. Unless I crash there, of course. Bloodgrin, the Whispering Witch and the Baronet, fiends and killers, all of them. They give sailors a bad name. Well, tie me up and drag me under. So you're the one the Navy's hooked into finding Gallows End and killing Dead Kel. It's suicide! Really? Ask the others. Oh wait, you can't. But don't worry about them. Like my mother said, don't weep for the fallen. Even if they could hear you, they wouldn't care. You know, the other applicants. Dead, all of them. All of the ones they found, that is. Plenty of others just vanished. One poor fellow was found cut into teeny tiny pieces. They needed a bucket to pull all of him from the surf. But don't you worry, we'll have a fine voyage. He's the worst of the worst. A villain who truly enjoys the pain he inflicts. He's a slippery one, though. Not even death can catch Dead Kel. I'd love to be the one to bring him in. Maybe then I'd finally get some respect. It is the mysterious island fortress of Dead Kel and his crew. Why? Do you know how to get there? Because I have no idea. I was hoping to figure it out as we go, but I'm starting to wonder if that's a good idea. Flattery'll get you nowhere, unless I've had too much to drink. Then I'm afraid to say it'll get you all sorts of strange places. I shall not elaborate. Tari and I are ready when you are. Only what you want with you in case of an emergency. There aren't many merchants where we're headed. He's the fine first mate on the ground next to me. Words aren't his strength, although I'd be pressed to say what is exactly. I found him after I was forced to maroon my last first mate on a desert island. That man became obsessed with me, probably because we had sex. A lot. Seeing as I don't believe in navigation, I'd have to say no. Not at the moment. Not to worry. Once you've wrecked enough ships, you get the hang of it. If you're ready to depart, my vessel awaits. You'll find her both swift and seaworthy. Just don't go down into the hold. There's a leak down there. It's big. I'm predicting an uneventful voyage. We might even get bored. Off we go then. Trust no one. Except me, of course.
Lo, hear the tale of the Pirate King, who cut a blood-red wake from dark Rathir to Frostbreak Sea, and Dead Kel was his name. With hanged men crew and bone-white flag, he sailed from Gallows End. No solace for a sailor true when Dead Kel's ship came in.
Did not foresee such a horrendous disaster. Too bad. Are you well? Everything in its right place? Most of the others were killed. It wasn't quick. I heard their cries in the fog, but I couldn't do a thing. Dead cow. One moment there was nothing but open sea before us, and the next there he was. It didn't take much to sink the Calamity. That poor ship was asking for mercy, and Dead Cow granted her wish. Welcome to Gallows End, my friend. At least I think that's where we ended up. I hope you like surprises. No one is sorrier than I am. Those men and women were my family. Travelling as I do, there aren't many opportunities for closeness. I found that on the Calamity. Found it and lost it. Good thing Tari is still with me. Well, mostly. Not sure exactly, but he's bleeding like a gutted fish. We're going to need to reach shore if we want to fetch help. We'll have to come back for him. I wish there was another way. Gone, Lyria, bless her. Like Mother always said, never love anything, because all things end up dead. A wise woman, my mother. And very, very sad. The hull drifted off into an eastern cove, where it sank away completely. Only bubbles remain. And a more capable team I can't imagine. It appears our best path to the mainland is through a nearby cavern, but it seems to be flooded and blocked by debris. I do carry some old kobold explosives in my pack, but I've never used one before. Well, not successfully. No time to jaw. Whether or not these explosives are worth the price I crayfish. I'm out of explosives. And we're so close, I can hear the waves on the sand. One of us is going to need to find some way to get us through this wall. And by someone, I mean you. You see, I don't swim, or did I fail to mention that? Anything that can get us through this wall. Be creative. I'd help you, but I can't swim. No time to jaw. We're close. It's time to get out of here. Amazing! We survived! I didn't want to say anything in the cavern, but I was betting against us. In the words of my dear departed mother, always prepare for the worst, for it'll probably happen. There looks to be a settlement on the beach. Come, let's see who's at home. That village looks inviting. What with its starving inhabitants and looming gallows. Perhaps someone there can help us. All right, then.
Akara blesses us with another lost soul. Welcome, stranger. I am Alder Malloy, and you've arrived at Cape Solace just in time. Tell me, how have you come to find yourself upon our shore? It is a village established by those of us whose fates have brought us to Gallows End. Sailors and settlers, foreigners and families, but castaways all. We have made a life here on these beaches and in this village. Akara is the reason I am here. The reason all of us on this island are here. And maybe, my friend, it's why you are here as well. Akara is this island and everything upon it. Ah, so you're here for the oppressor, he who was cast down. You're not the first to arrive on these shores in search of him. You will not be the last. But Akara's magic protects us here in Cape Solace. We are safe from Dead Kell's deathless touch. The same cannot be said for those who venture past the boundaries of the village, near the keep and the surrounding forest. Dead Kell was the favourite son of Akara. He was given great gifts from our protector, only to squander them in the pursuit of power. We are blessed not to fear him. So many others live at his mercy, but not those of us here on the safety of the beaches. Akara protects the faithful. Why, it is the great fortress that looms in the north. Grave Hall, as it was named by the Diverga craftsmen who raised its mighty walls. But the Diverga have long since abandoned the island, leaving their great keep empty. Some in the village, like Paddy, are intrigued by the keep's dark courts and corridors. But I would avoid it. Grave Hall is haunted. The villain Dead Kell rules much of this island, and he strives tirelessly to control every last inch. Akara will not let this happen. We are protected in this spot alone, just south of the river and along the coast. The Fallen One has no power here, and it enrages him. Then you will fit in well, for keeping the village strong is truly a group undertaking. We get by with Akara's blessing and providence, of course. You may stay with us for as long as you wish, but might I suggest that you find a way to make yourself useful? We all must do our part. He is this island and everything on it. His power and wisdom give us direction, help us to chart a course through the thundering storm of this mortal life. Akara has been a part of Gallows End since before the first castaway dragged his boat ashore and kissed the damp sand beneath his feet. We here in Cape Solace worship Akara because it is he who provides safety, sustenance, and sense of purpose. I once captained my own craft. I was a thief and a smuggler. But all that changed when I found myself here, upon this mysterious shore. Akara blessed me with a second chance. That is what he does. He shows you what is possible. He shows you the fates of which you've never fathomed. I met Bridget, another castaway, and later we had our beloved Nina. All the happiness I'd ignored in my early life were suddenly mine. He and his hanged men are not welcome near our village. Akara has made it so. The fallen sun stalks the forest and coasts of Gallows End, but he is a prisoner here as much as anyone. One day, Akara will rid us of him once and for all. I prefer the rolling tides of the Frostbreak to any grassy plain or hillside. I have lived a life adrift, seeing the world and meeting interesting people. All who find themselves on these white sand beaches have been drawn by Akara. Here you will discover many mysteries, but none more important than what to do with this opportunity. Who will you be when you leave Gallows End? The same person who came? Or someone else entirely? She means well, but like all children, she craves freedom and independence. She will learn to respect boundaries. This is an island, after all. He's a funny one, plagued by delusions and inspiration. I've known Akara to touch people, but Paddy acts more touched in the head than blessed. Ever since he arrived, Paddy has had a covetous eye on Grave Hall Keep. I don't know what it is about that old ruin that so bewitches him. Magical deviants like their master, The hanged men terrorize any who brave the wilderness. Bloodgrin stalks the docks of Kells Harbour to the west, while the Baronet rules the mountains in the north, haunting its peaks and twisted islands. Worst of them all is the Whispering Witch. We never know where she will strike next.
Well, I don't know about you, but all of this talk about Akara is unsettling. I'm going to ask around about ways to get off the island, since I'm almost certain we're not going to want to stay. We'll have to secure another vessel, but from the looks of the village, they don't often venture past the reef. In the meantime, I'll ask you to scour the beaches for survivors of our wreck. I fear that we may be all that's left of the calamity. Such a possibility has left me agitated. I try not to worry. Anxiety doesn't agree with me. I throw up. I did not see my bosun Thora among the dead, or his wife Asa. There's a chance they have evaded death's grip and still count among the living. Mark my words, if even one of them survives, I will fight to the earth's edge to find them. That's the spirit. I knew taking you on board was the right idea. That fortune teller didn't know what she was talking about. I will stay here and speak to Alder about a boat, and I'll have them send men to fetch Tari from the sandbar. I'll have dead Kel's head if it's the last thing I do. What was left of the ship drifted towards a cove past the eastern cliffs. I'd search there first, and I'd hurry. Bring them back.
So, I'm not the only one who walked out of that mess. I figured you for a sturdy one, but surviving that wreck, that's fate. We shouldn't waste a moment. My wife, my Asa, she still lives, but they took her. I've never seen anything like it. Scavengers. They looked like fair Gorta, but not like any I've ever seen. No, it was just us. Asmir, Kelly, Free, Edric, Udin. They're all gone. All dead. They were good people. Proud. Not the bedraggled bunch many mistook them for. It's a shame. Thank you. I won't forget this, truly. I will make way inland. If there are others on this island, I will find them and I will send them. My heart goes with you. There's not much time.
a sailor, are you? Sailors pitch when they walk dry ground, list like drunkards at a wake. No, not one of them. So who are you? My name is Nina Malloy. You met my father Alder back in the village. He wouldn't be pleased to find me here. Of course, very little pleases my father. I've walked this island since I was no bigger than a boggart, but I'm still prohibited from venturing past the village on my own. I can take care of myself. Ha! Did you know? I killed my first scav in this very fasting. I don't need protection. Not yours. Not my father's. Not Akara's. Keep telling our people that the offering only makes us slaves. Makes us weak. But do they listen? No. They've been trained not to. We sacrifice one of our own people to Akara. A being none of us have ever seen. And one that's desires are not known to us. Is the offering bad? Yes. We can leave whenever we wish. All of us. Only we lack a vessel fit for such a journey. Wouldn't matter, however. Most of the villagers in Cape Solace wish to stay right here. My father has them convinced that their destiny is to serve Akara. My destiny is my own. If only he understood that. It takes place once in a generation. A member of the village is chosen, and then she's offered to the god Akara as a sacrifice. During the offering ceremony, Akara imbues the chosen one with his magic and transforms her into his arbiter, his mouthpiece in the village. We follow her guidance, whether we wish to or not. Yes, so I gathered. The scabs aren't partial to intruders, especially ones they can eat. I'll join you if you don't mind. I know these tunnels better than anyone. Lead on. I'll watch your back. He's a tyrant, nothing more. We're captives here so long as Akara guides us. All my life I've heard of his benevolence, his protection. But what's he protecting me from? I'll tell you. Freedom. A whole world awaits us beyond these shores. A world I'll never discover. Many years ago, this island belonged to the Dread Pirate. It was his lair, a place where the justice of the Alfar held no sway. But time passed, as it always does. His influence here has waned. I wouldn't let it keep you from slumber. I was born and raised on this island. I know many of its secrets. At least those it's willing to share with me. And while I feel at home on Gallows End, I want nothing more than to leave it. Between Akara, Dead Kell, and my father, there's no room left for the rest of us. I keep the village of Cape Solace in wild game, for when the sea is stingy with its yield. I also scour the forests and cliffs for plants, for our village alchemists. However, most people on Gallows End only know me as Alder's daughter. Till I escape this place, I'll never be anything more than that. Never quite fit in with the rest of us in the village. Didn't do his part, carry his load. Apparently he's got other plans. I don't know why my father put up with him. It's a spectacle, nothing more. Akara only uses it to keep the villagers tethered to his will. The offering fast approaches. I'd rather not discuss it anymore. It's tough to tell in these old tunnels, but if your friend was dragged in here by scavs, then she'll be at the very bottom. Take the lead.